Okay, so if you're listening, chances are you know that feeling, right? The classic language learner frustration. You've done the work, you know the grammar rules, maybe even memorized verb lists.
Uh-huh. You feel like you know English.
Exactly. But then you need to actually speak, maybe like in a job interview or just ordering coffee, and suddenly, poof, your brain just freezes up.
Yeah, that smooth flow you imagine just disappears, and you're stuck translating every single word in your head. It's exhausting.
It really is. It's this massive gap, isn't it, between like knowing the rules and actually using the language naturally.
Totally. And that's what we're digging into today. We're doing a deep dive on a technique based on methods from sources we're calling Teacher Sam's that seems almost, well, tailor-made to bridge that exact gap. It's all about using fun Q&A sessions.
Okay, fun Q&A. I think we need to be really clear here. We're not talking about those awful, dry quizzes from school, are we? The ones everyone dreaded.
No, no, definitely not. Forget those. These Q&A sessions, according to the sources, are way more casual. They're creative. They're about real-life stuff. The whole point is communication, getting words out, not, getting every single grammar point
They
perfect.
feel more like a chat than a test.
Exactly. Think of it like a low-pressure workout for your speaking brain. Instead of defining obscure grammar terms, you're just answering questions, stuff about your actual life.
Like what? Give me an example.
Okay, so maybe the question is, what makes you happy in the morning? You don't stop and think, okay, which tense do I need? You just answer.
Right, a cup of coffee and maybe 5 minutes of quiet, something like that.
Perfect. Simple, real, conversational, and that's the key. So our mission today is to unpack why this simple method seems to work so well, like what's the magic behind it, and then give you a really practical step-by-step guide so you can start using it like today.
Sounds good. Let's get into it. Where does the transformation actually start?
Okay, so the biggest thing, the real game changer, according to the sources, is how it tackles that number one enemy of fluency, the internal translator.
Ah, yes, the translator in your head. That little voice that insists on hearing English, converting it to your native language, letting you form a reply there, and then translating it back into English before you speak.
And it makes every single interaction feel like wading through treacle, right? So slow.
Totally. Kills any spontaneity.
Well, these Q&A sessions are basically designed to train your brain to just skip that step, to bypass the translator. Now, look, at first, you probably will translate a bit. That's normal.
Okay.
But the core idea here is speed and repetition. Answering quickly, question after question, forces your brain to start actually thinking in English, forming the thoughts directly.
So it's like building a new habit for the brain.
Exactly. And the sources say with regular practice, you kind of shift gears. You go from that slow, careful translation process to what they call pure flow, speaking without the pause.
Pure flow. I like the sound of that.
Right.
But realistically, how fast does that happen? It feels like a huge jump, going from walking to flying, metaphorically speaking.
It is a huge lead, absolutely. But the speed comes partly from the type of questions. They're usually about your feelings, your experiences, your opinions.
Ah, so stuff you already know the answers to, basically. You're not searching for information, just the words.
Right. You've got the content ready. You just need the English delivery system. And because the focus is on answering quickly, you naturally stop obsessing over perfect grammar and start prioritizing just getting the message out.
That makes sense. It shifts the priority.
Which is why this is really practice for speaking English, not just studying English. There's a big difference.
Yeah, that's a really crucial distinction. It's like the difference between reading a cookbook and actually cooking the meal.
Precisely. Think about a standard textbook approach. Someone asks why you're going to the shop. The textbook might drill you to say, I am proceeding to the retail establishment with the intention of procuring vegetables.
Huh. Nobody talks like that.
Right. But through this kind of Q&A practice, because you're aiming for natural flow, you learn the real-life version.
Which would be?
More like, oh, I'm just heading to the market to grab some veggies. Much punchier, uses contractions, sounds natural. Your brain absorbs that efficiency almost passively because you're constantly simulating real, informal chats.
Okay, I'm starting to see how that bypasses the old way. Let's talk about this idea of passive mastery then. It sounds, well, almost too good to be true. Acquiring skills without hitting the books hard, like grammar, for instance. If we're not studying rules, how do we end up speaking correctly?
Yeah, it seems counterintuitive, doesn't it? But this is where the method really shines. And it's kind of like how kids pick up their first language.
Yeah.
You're not consciously memorizing grammar rules.
So what are you doing?
You're absorbing patterns through hearing and, more importantly, using phrases over and over again in context. Your brain just starts to recognize what sounds right. It internalizes the structures.
So instead of thinking, okay, past event needs simple past tense, my brain just knows to say, did you go?
Exactly. It just feels right. And it learns the difference contextually
Hmm.
between did you go for a specific finished trip and maybe have you ever been when you're talking about general life experience.
Without needing the labels like simple past or present perfect.
Precisely. You feel the difference because you've used them in response to different kinds of questions. The daily Q&A gives you tons of repetition, embedding those patterns.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense. It's like grammar becomes muscle memory instead of like a math problem you have to solve each time.
You got it. And the same logic applies to vocabulary. We usually think flashcards, right? Memorizing lists.
Yep. Boring but standard.
But this way, vocabulary learning gets tied to actual experience. When you're answering questions about your dreams or your hobbies or how you felt yesterday, you naturally reach for words related to emotions, goals, real situations.
And that makes them stick better.
Way better. Because there's context and emotion attached. You stop just knowing the dictionary definition of, say, exhausted.
And you start actually using phrases you hear or feel, like, man, I was totally drained after that meeting. Or maybe something positive, like, I'm actually over the moon about this new project.
Exactly. That's the leap from academic, kind of sterile language to real human communication.
Which brings us nicely to the cultural side of things.
Like idioms and slang. The stuff that makes you sound less like a textbook.
Totally. When you practice with spontaneous Q&A, especially if you're maybe listening to questions recorded by a native speaker or practicing with one, you just start absorbing the rhythm, the tone, the idioms.
Like learning, that's not really my cup of tea, instead of just, I don't like that.
Or hearing someone say, you nailed it, and understanding it means you did perfectly. These phrases often don't make literal sense, right? They're cultural shortcuts.
Yeah, logic doesn't help you there.
No, it's all about exposure and context. And don't forget the other side of the coin here, listening skills. Q&A isn't just about talking. Right, you have to understand the question first.
And when you're actively listening to answer, you're tuning your ear much more sharply to things like intonation, rhythm, emphasis, how native speakers actually sound. It makes your brain more active, more curious about the language. It speeds up comprehension, too.
So it's a full workout, speaking and listening.
Definitely. You're training the whole communication loop.
Okay, this is all making a lot of sense in terms of why it works. Let's get practical. The sources promise big results, effortless fluency, basically from just 10 to 15 minutes a day. That sounds suspiciously efficient.
Huh. Yeah, it does sound minimal, but the key isn't really the duration. It's the consistency and the intensity of that short burst. You're making your brain work hard, specifically on output, every single day.
And the setup is simple.
Super simple. Basically, you need curiosity and maybe a notebook. Let's break down the main steps the sources suggest to get started right away. Just 4 key things.
Okay, lay them on me. Step 1.
Step 1. Pick a topic you actually like, something you're passionate about.
Why is that so important?
Because enthusiasm fuels language. If you're excited about, say, travel or movies or your future goals, the words and ideas just flow more easily. You're motivated to express more complex thoughts, You push past basic answers.
Right. If I love talking about space travel, I'm going to find more interesting ways to describe it than if I'm forced to talk about, I don't know, tax regulations.
Exactly. Passion makes you want to communicate better. Okay, step 2. Prepare about 10 to 15 simple questions on that topic.
Simple questions.
Yeah, short, natural-sounding questions, but try to mix them up a bit. Use different tenses. Don't just ask about the present. Ask about the past, the future experiences, like, what's one cool thing you did last weekend? Or, where do you dream of traveling next year? Make yourself think across time.
Got it. Mix up the tenses. What's step 3?
This one is absolutely crucial, non-negotiable, really. Step 3 is answer aloud. Don't write your answers down first.
So you're training the speaking muscles, not the writing muscles.
Precisely. Writing lets you polish imperfect, which is fine, but it doesn't build fluency. Speaking aloud trains your mouth, your ears get used to hearing you speak English, and it builds that spontaneous connection.
And what about mistakes? People worry about sounding silly.
That's where recording yourself comes in, which the sources highly recommend. Not to judge yourself harshly, but just to listen back later, maybe a week later. You'll likely hear improvement in your flow, your pronunciation, maybe your confidence. That progress is incredibly motivating. It proves it's working.
Okay, speak aloud, record yourself for tracking progress. Makes sense. And the last step, step 4.
Step 4 is where the real communication magic happens. Add emotions and stories. Don't just give factual answers.
What do you mean, like make it personal?
Yeah, make it human. Remember that bike example. Don't just say, I learned to ride a bike. Add the feeling. That first moment, without training wheels, it felt like I was flying. Connect the language to an actual feeling or a mini story.
Ah, I see. Because that's how we actually talk to each other. We share experiences, not just data points.
Exactly. And there's some brain science here, too. Adding emotion and story engages both sides of your brain, the logical language side and the emotional experiential side. That makes the learning stickier, more memorable, because it's active and meaningful, not just passive memorization.
Active emotional learning. Got it. And all this ties into the confidence thing too, doesn't it? Practicing like this, even just with yourself.
Absolutely. That's maybe the hidden superpower of this method, because you're practicing in a safe space, just you, your questions, maybe your recorder. There's no judgment.
Right, no fear of sounding stupid in front of someone else.
And confidence doesn't come from waiting until you're perfect. It comes from practice, from noticing your own progress. Every time you answer aloud, you get more comfortable hearing your own voice in English. That reduces the fear factor massively for real-world conversations.
So by the time you do need to speak to someone, you've already clocked hundreds of mini conversations with yourself.
Exactly. You've built up that resilience and familiarity.
Okay, let's pull this all together then. To recap this whole transformation we've been talking about, doing this daily Q&A practice helps you move away from that slow, clunky internal translation.
Uh-huh. And towards a much more effortless, automatic kind of fluency. Your brain literally becomes more English active. It's like a targeted workout that boosts your ability to think and speak on the fly.
And the benefits go beyond just, ordering food or asking for directions. You're saying it impacts deeper communication.
Definitely. Because language at its core is about connection,
Yeah.
right? Empathy. When you get used to asking and answering questions that have a bit more meaning, like what inspires you or what are you grateful for, you're not just practicing English, you're practicing being a better communicator, period.
Yeah.
Building social confidence.
That makes sense. The skills are transferable. The clarity you gain, the courage to just speak up, that probably helps everywhere.
It really does. Think about it. Job interviews, giving presentations, even just important conversations with friends or family. This practice helps you articulate what you think and feel without that hesitation holding you back.
So the final thought here, the really provocative idea from the sources, is that this isn't just about learning English vocabulary and grammar.
No, it's bigger than that. It's framed as a form of personal growth.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you think more clearly, speak more naturally, and ultimately kind of live more globally, become someone who communicates with confidence and courage.
Wow. That's a powerful takeaway. So the final message for everyone listening is pretty clear then.
Yeah, I think so. Don't wait for someday to feel fluent. Start today.
Grab that notebook, pick a topic you love, jot down 10 or 15 questions.
And just start talking. Aloud. Recording if you can.
Right, and celebrate every little bit of progress. Every answer you give is a step towards that confident, fluent English you're aiming for.